All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We're locked in on our new episode for the Never Stop Dreaming podcast. I got a good friend and buddy of mine, DJ, a real estate investor. DJ, man, I really appreciate your time this morning, man. Thank you so much. I called on you because I just see your movement, man, in the marketplace. And, it's pretty incredible, the moves that you're making right now, man. So again, thank you so much for your time, man. How you doing this morning?
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I'm doing well, man. It's Saturday, so I'm signing off on I got a notary coming to my house today. We're going to sign off on the final closing docs for my latest flip. And looking towards a good payday next weekend. I'll share a little bit of that as we get into it. But I just appreciate you having me on, man. I'm happy to share my story.
Thank you so much, man. So before we get into the recent deal that you just did, I mean, can you walk the people through your first deal or how you even got started with flipping, and do you flip residential and commercial, or do you just flip residential right now? Like, for the people, just break it down for the people that's just tuning in.
Sure. So a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Vallejo, California. I grew up in Atwater, California, if you know what that is, down by Merced. So totally different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I graduated high school in 2011. And my goal was to continue to play football. I played football my entire life, football, baseball, basketball. I got a football scholarship to go play at the University of Redlands in Southern California. It was a good experience for me, going to college, developing as a young man. And, football season's in the fall semester.
Yeah.
And when you're a senior, typically the spring semester, you have maybe 1 or 2 wrap-up classes, right? So halfway through my senior year, it was boom, this entire identity I had myself wrapped up as, which was a student athlete, was gone in the wind, just like that. And it was damn, okay, who am I going to be in this life? It was almost like a mid-20s life crisis kind of thing I had. Early 20s, I was 21, 22. So at that point, I said, okay, I only have 1 or 2 classes. I got 4 or 5 months here. I'm really just going to lock in, and I'm just going to find out what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start with looking at all these different people from all different walks of life who have had success in this country. So I looked at philanthropists, business people, social activists, politics, anything and anything you could imagine, anybody who just made an impact.
Okay.
And the more I started looking into these people and seeing how they made their way, I came across, that statistic that they always say 90% of America's millionaires are made through real estate.
Right.
And I was okay. And then I found biggerpockets.com.
Okay.
And for those who are not familiar with Bigger Pockets is basically a LinkedIn / Facebook for real estate investors, educational platform, podcasts, forum, just a place for people to connect and share their stories. And I was on there and I was like, damn, I see people of all different walks of life coming in here having success. Men, women, young, old, fat, skinny, black, white, brown, Mexican, Asian, blue, yellow, whatever. I saw all these different people of different walks of life come in and have success at this thing and achieve financial freedom. And I'm like, damn, okay, I know what hard work looks like. I'm not afraid to go speak to people. I could put a play together. I could do this. So I had this wholesaling campaign that I was going to do around my college.
Okay.
And the whole thing was going to be, hey, it's 2015 now. You've probably gained a little equity back in your house. Aren't you tired of dumb college kids coming in and banging on your door, thinking it's their house, drunk at the end of the night, passing out in your lawn? Somebody trying to break into your shed with a lady, trying to, get a little commercial
for real estate.
And so that was my whole plan, right? And so this was started in April. I graduated April 18th, 2015. April 19th, I received a message on Facebook. I posted the typical cap and gown picture. April 19th, I got a message from one of my old football coaches, said, hey, DJ, congrats, man. You did things the right way. You have any interest in working for my company? I'm just like, oh, thank you, coach. I appreciate it. Who's your company? He's like, oh, Amazon. I was like, your company? He's like, well, not my company, but the building that I'm working at, it's a distribution center. I'm pretty high up. We're hiring a bunch of college students, college grads, and I think you'd be a fit. You'd come in and you'd manage a team of 50 to 100 people at any given time. And I think it'd be a good starting spot for you. And I was like, hell yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So I graduated from school in April 2015.
Okay.
I interviewed with Amazon in May. And by June, I moved back to Northern California to Tracy, where we were opening up a new facility. And I had started right there. So the whole real estate thing went on an absolute standstill. I mean, the way I saw it, I was like, okay, $50,000 a year. They're going to spend, give me a few $1,000s to move. And they're going to give me a signing bonus of like $5,000 or something. I was like, Mama, I made it. Yeah. I don't need nothing else. I'm good. I did it. I'm going to work here forever, retire, get my 401k package. You know, that's what they say you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
So it was a good start for me. I did it for 3 years. I started in Tracy. I moved down to Southern California to Chino. I moved back up here to Sacramento in 2017 to open the facility by SMF Airport. And when I moved out here, you know, I was almost 3 years in at this point. No, when I moved out here, I was about 2 years in. So this is like 2017, like I mentioned. And the honeymoon phase, it started to wear off, right?
Yeah.
The whole allure of working for this big company wear off. I had got my shift switched to weekend nights. So I was working night shift, 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day. By the time I was like, you know, I was making my play. I was like, I'm going to move back up to Sacramento near where my family's at.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing this real estate thing again. I'm going to milk this Amazon cow as long as I can until I get my stocks and I'm out. So I moved up here to Sac and I was like, damn, okay, houses are affordable out here. I live in West Sac now. And I was like, okay, I'll sell a couple shares of stock for the sake of my down payment so I can buy this house.
That's smart.
And at the time, I think the stock was about $1,100 or $1,200 or something like that. And I had to sell 8 of them. Keep in mind, those stocks are like $3,600 now.
Right.
But that was the best financial decision I ever made in my life, because from that day on, you know, I bought my house for $300K. I've been house hacking ever since. So I have 2 roommates and I live with my girlfriend. So 3 roommates really.
Yeah.
My mortgage is $1,400. I mean, my mortgage is $2,000. My 2 roommates pay me $1,400 a month. So between me and my girl, we pay $600 plus utilities. I've been doing this for about 4 years now. And when I bought my house, it was worth $300K. My house is now easily worth $450.
Wow. Look at that. $150 in equity right there.
Not to mention, my roommate's been paying down my loan every month. Right. So my loan balance is like $270 now. So that's about $180,000 in equity.
Right.
So, you know, selling those shares at the time, I was hesitant to do so.
Yeah.
But I turned that into this, and I'm really happy with the end result, at least up until this point. You know, the market's still volatile. But so I moved back up to Sacramento. I started working at the Amazon facility here. I'm on night shift. I hate my life. It causes stress on my relationships. I break up with my girlfriend. And at a certain point, I said, this isn't worth it anymore, man. Like, the real estate thing, I could still do this. I now have some money saved. My living expenses are low because I'm doing the roommates thing. I'm not married. I don't have kids. If I'm ever going to take this leap, I got to do it. So the summer of 2018, I hit my 3-year mark with Amazon. I got my stocks like at midnight. I remember I was sitting in the break room with our facilities team. And just looking at the clock, and right when the clock struck 12, I was like, let's go. You know, I was like
you just signed the NBA draft.
And the very next day, I went into my boss's office. I said, here's my 2 weeks. And here's 2 weeks of vacation time I'm submitting. And they were like, wait, what? Like, that's not the right way to do it. You know, you really could burn some bridges here. I said, well, in California, you don't get paid if you quit your job with vacation time in your back pocket. And you got me messed up if you think I'm about to not get my money for that.
Right.
So I said, see ya. And I bounced
Dang.
and never looked back, man. I mean, so that was the summer of 2018, right? And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this whole real estate thing. I had probably about $45,000 to my name, maybe a little less,
Mm-hmm.
35, 40. Most of that was in stock. I wasn't good at money management at this point at all. But
Mm-hmm.
most of it was in stock, which I didn't sell. So I quit in the summer, kind of messed around for 2 months, just happy to not be working. Told myself I
Yeah.
was going to do this, but I had no discipline. I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know A or B, you know?
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you don't know, you're really in the weeds. Um, so the first couple months I messed around but what I was really focused on doing was I was like, okay, I don't know anybody in this real estate space. My mom and dad, they're the old school mentality, work hard, get your retirement, do what you do. My mom was a correctional officer. My dad was in the military.
Okay.
I didn't grow up around no real estate people. I didn't grow up around no millionaires. I didn't grow around no lawyers, no doctors, nobody that was like, you know, upper echelon, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. So I told myself, I was like, okay, if I want to do this, I have to put myself in these circles and be explicit with people about what it is that I want to do. Go look people in the eye, shake hands, and say, I'm willing to learn. I'm hungry. I wanted to figure this out. Who's willing to show me the way?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I just started going to every single meetup I could possibly find in Sacramento, the Real Estate Roundtable, the West Sac Real Estate Meetup, the Folsom one, the
Mm-hmm.
Roseville, just
Man,
going
you was out
out,
there.
meeting people. The Bigger Pockets, I was in the local Bigger Pockets network, just tapping in with anybody and everybody. And slowly but surely, I started to meet people, right? And then somebody I met said, hey, if you're going to flip, you might as well get your license because getting a license is like $1,500 a year. You sell one flip, the average price point on a flip, the average price point in Sacramento is 300K. 2.5% goes to the seller's agent, 300K, 2.5%, that's $7,500. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
pay your dues and some, and going to put more money in your pocket. On
Mm-hmm.
top of that, maybe you help one or two friends and family throughout the year to help buy or sell a house. That's just more money you can make. So why would you limit yourself and not do it?
Right.
I was like, damn. Very
Why
next day,
not?
I signed up to get my license.
Right. Right.
So I did. That was about my birthday time. So like September-ish area.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting my license. It took longer than I thought, probably 4 months between classes, signing up for the test, taking the test. In that between time, I did some small deals, gap funding. So
Okay.
basically what I would do is somebody would be in the middle of a flip. They tapped all their rehab money. They need a little bit more money. Let's say somebody's just tapped it all. They're set to make $55,000 when this deal's done. They're happy to go get somebody to lend them $8K to get
Mm-hmm.
the landscaping or whatever it is wrapped up, right? So that was kind of my first thing. I was like, I got 5, 10. I could throw that in, make a little extra on top, start to build a small portfolio. I was gassing it up like these were my deals.
Yeah.
But, I was a partner on them. I was a minority partner. So, yeah, I'm going to gas it up
Right.
like it's my deal.
Exactly. For the credibility. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a portfolio. You got to have a proof of concept when you're going into these places. And even when you're getting started, sure. But for people to take you serious, you got to show you've done a little something.
Right.
And that's exactly what I was doing, a little something. And then, I ended up joining my brokerage, Sierra Bay Real Estate and Development. Those guys showed me a lot, just being a green in the game. And then one of the agents there said, hey, I got a deal that you may be interested in. Like, okay, what's the deal? Mm-hmm. It's this duplex. It's in a kind of a bad neighborhood, but you can make some serious money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's check it out. Went to go look at it. Definitely needed a lot of work. One of my buddies who I met through Bigger Pockets at the time came and looked at it with me, and he was like, I wouldn't do this deal. He was like, it's too much work. I don't think there's going to be enough money on the back end. You don't know what you're doing. This might be too much for you to chew.
Mm-hmm.
I met with another contractor. He said it was going to cost me 60, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I then met with another contractor. He told me it was going to be 30. So I was like, oh, 30. Cool. Yep. That's it. let's do it. Worst decision of my life.
Hmm.
He was a horrible contractor.
Oh, okay.
One thing they say in real estate is fire fast, hire slow. I hired him too fast, and I was too slow to get rid of his ass. I kept trying to work on him and help him get better and help him develop his game. When in reality, this clown was learning on my dime, and I was the one paying for it. And being a rookie in the game, you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so this flip that I purchased in March of 2019, I didn't sell it till at least April 2020. And I lost like 15 grand. On top of that, I had done another deal with another guy who had purchased a house in Curtis Park, and it was a monster of a house. He needed $29,000. I convinced my buddy to go in on with me. I put up 14. My buddy put up 15 to make the 29. He ghosted us. And here was the issue too that I'll kind of go in more depth about as we get into it. But I was chasing a dollar. I wasn't putting people over profits. The people you work with make the money. It's people first, profit second, every time. But I was chasing the money because I didn't have money. I had a little nest egg that I was trying to balloon so that I could do my own deals. Rather than say, I have a little less nest egg that I could throw into the hat with somebody else who has experience and we could do a deal together and make money. I was so focused on just trying to make a dollar and got it out the mud, did it on my own, stupid. That I put myself in a huge hole right out the gate. Fortunately, with the guy I gave the loan to, he went into pre-foreclosure on that property. And we did what's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure so that he could deed the house over to me so that I could sell it instantly and got my money out. And that is a super long story that I could go into for another day, as well as my first flip, which is a year-long story that I could tell you. Horror stories from people breaking in, going underneath the house, busting up through the subfloor just to live in the house because they were homeless, to people having sex in the detached garage, me walking in on it like, what the fuck? To the people that were evicted coming back to the house trying to fight because the messed up car they had in the back, we got towed off the site because it wasn't doing nothing. And coming with a gun and all that. Like it was, I could go in crazy. The stories I could tell you about it, you wouldn't believe.
See, this is what I like right here, man, because a lot of real estate people don't talk about this stuff.
Right.
You're giving the nitty gritty on both sides.
I was almost ass out, bro. I almost had to sell my house. I almost had to tuck my tail between my legs and tell my mom that, hey, I'm going to have to sell my house and move back in with you because this real estate thing ain't working and I'm going to have to stack up again. When you're losing sleep at night, when you're worried that somebody's breaking into your properties, what is money at that point?
Right.
Nothing. I was in Miami on vacation. This is how stupid I was. This third week of my flip, I went to Rolling Loud, Miami. And I just told my contractor, you got it. Call me. Keep me up to date. Woo. I got like 2 calls that whole time. And that should have been it right there. I should have canned him right there. I should have canned him the second day he showed up late. But I didn't, because I was under the impression I could help him, and it's stupid. He runs a business. I run a business. Do your job right, or we'll find somebody who will. Simple as that. So 2019 was my first real year, and it came with a lot of loss. But L's are not only losses, they're lessons. And that, what helped me in 2019 keep everything afloat was because I got my license as a realtor. I sold 6 to 8 houses my first year. And all that money just kept the flip afloat. That's all it did. So it kept my life afloat.
Expenses and everything.
Holding costs, additional expenses, hiring somebody else to fix the first mess up that the last guy did. It kept my life afloat. Then, end of 2019, I met 2 partners, Caitlin and TJ, who are still great friends of mine. And they said, hey, we want to come see your duplex flip. And I'm like, damn, this is going horribly. I'm embarrassed to show it off, but they want to do a deal together. I was like, all right, come check it out. I'm there frantically cleaning up the day of, trying to do everything I can. They get there, I'm sweaty as hell. Project looks like shit. And they're sorry, crap. I don't know if I could
It's
cuss on
all
here,
good.
but
It's all good, man.
project looks like shit. And they come and they're like, wow, this is so cool. You did the flooring, you did this, you did. And I'm just like, yeah. They're like, we want to do a deal. Let's do a deal. We'll put the money. You find the deal. You
Oh man,
facilitate
look at
it.
that.
We'll 50-50 the thing. I said, let's go. Found a deal in Vallejo through my brokerage. This one was special to me too, because being from Vallejo, it's just like full circle. You know what I mean? On this job, I said, okay, I'm not going to make this mistake again. Vallejo's 2 hours from where I live. We have a lot of spread in this deal. I'm going to hire a general contractor on a referral, not somebody rando, a referral only. I only work referrals now. That's the
Yeah.
only way I hire somebody.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll
Smart.
got a referral from this guy. He was a little more expensive, but saw the job all the way through, got out, and we made 20 grand each. And it was like, damn, okay. A little bit of a proof of concept now, right? Like you can envision what you're doing. You could see others doing it. But, you know, when you take those early lessons, you're like, damn, am I cut out for this? Like, is this meant for me?
Yeah.
And then you actually get one under your belt and you're like, okay, wow, I can actually do this. Now let's prove it wasn't just lucky. We did another deal here in Meadowview. That went great.
Mm-hmm.
We made another 20K each. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I got a proof of concept. On that Meadowview deal, it was kind of similar, like I said to you. And remember my first couple of deals I did, 5-10 grand on people just wrapping up their jobs.
Right.
On the Meadowview deal, we needed about 5-10 grand to wrap up our job.
Mm-hmm.
At the West Sacramento Bigger Pockets meetup group that I attend, I went to the meetup that day and I said, hey guys, I'm wrapping up my job here in Meadowview. My team, we need 8-10 grand to finish up a couple button-up items. I'm going to pay you 10% on your money. So flat rate, you give me 8 grand, you're going to make $800 back. And you're going to help us see the job through. Scratch that. This was the Vallejo house.
Uh-huh.
This was the Vallejo house. So I didn't say this to anybody in particular. It was just at the end of the meetup, they say, anybody got any deals or anything going on they want to talk about? I get a call later that night. Hey, DJ, my name's Lisa. I was at the meetup. I heard your deal. I heard what you had to say. I'm interested. Can you send me some details? Maybe what the contract will look like. Cool. Write it up. Send it over to her. She's like, cool, let's do it. I'm like, wow. Okay. Now I'm procuring private money. This is really happening. Okay. Her husband comes over in his gi. He does jujitsu. So he came over in his whole attire. I was like, oh my God. He's like, hey man, how you doing? Introduce myself. Here's the check. Congrats. I'm like, okay, I really got to get this right now. Do it. Finish the Vallejo deal. Make 20 grand each. Break them off their money. Bingo. Cool. Done. Go to the Meadowview deal. Meadowview deal. At this point, this is probably like my 4th deal.
Uh-huh.
Do the Meadowview deal. As we're getting to the closing table, we need 20 grand. Call them up. Lisa, Leo, need 20 grand to close on this deal. 11 or 12% on your money. $2,200. Would you be interested in financing for us? You'll get paid out in 6 months or upon closing, whatever comes first. They were in. I was like, what the? I'm like picking up a check, Equity Boys LLC, $20,000. I'm like, what the? Like, this is really happening?
Yeah.
We do the Meadowview deal. We each make 20 grand. Wow, great. Okay. Now we're in summer 2020. The market's boiling hot, right? Yeah, summer 2020. Yes, the market's crazy hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I come across another deal. Compliments of my friend Ryan Longley, an agent. He said, hey, you find the deal. You do this deal, my finder's fee will be you let me list it on the back end for 2.5% commission. Sounds fair. Let me run my numbers. Makes sense to me. Yeah. Let's do it. I call them up again. Hey, Lisa. Hey, look, I know you've been investing on my deals with my partners. I love working with them too, but my ultimate goal is to do my own deals. It's not to, scalability is working with other people, no doubt. That's the only way you could really scale your business. But what do the top dogs do? they cherry pick the best deals for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're getting started, you got to make your money, got to get it up. I said, and if there's an opportunity where I could get 100% of the pie, then 50% of the pie, and I'm not bringing in any money, it's a no-brainer. Right. So I call her and I say, hey, I got this deal. Okay, how much do you need? 68. A little bit more than we had previously been talking about. She's like, okay, well, why don't you send me your calculations and then I'll take a look. Next day, I get a text. We're good to go. Go to her house, pick up a check, 68K, Equity Boys LLC. I'm like, God, this is insane. Like, what?
Yeah, man.
Keep in mind, throughout this whole time, 2020, my real estate agency business is picking up. I did 18 deals as an agent in 2020. That included some of my own flips. That included clients. That included other people's flips. So I'm building. 2019, L. 2020, get it back. Then we do the deal. This was a condo in El Dorado Hills that I purchased in December 2020. Finished it in March. Did it by myself.
So DJ, real quick, man, you're telling us such a great story. How long did it take you to break even?
It took me probably, honestly, about a year. I mean, I bought that first duplex in March of 2019 and probably about April 2020.
Okay. So right beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah. Once, oddly enough, once the Vallejo house sold and I had a few more commissions as an agent and I was able to finally say, I don't need to spend any more money on this duplex. Then it was like, okay, I'm starting to see a little bit of green now. And so this condo came up, probably middle of 2020. And then the condo deal came up and that one I was able to do on my own.
Yeah.
And so I did that one. And that one was like, by this time this was like my fifth flip or so. I had my team really locked in.
Yeah.
Get in, get out, 7 weeks. Boom. Get it on the market. Boom. Sold. Yeah. 34 grand. I was like, okay, now we're cooking. Like we're in and out in 7 weeks. This was an extensive job. This lady had 30 birds in her house, 30 fucking birds. If you have 30 birds in your house with 30 birds worth of bird food, what else are you going to have in your house?
Oh, yeah.
Rats. And she had rats. I found so many dead rat carcasses, but I'm doing the sweat equity. I'm doing all the demo. I'm doing all the clean out. I'm getting all the materials on site, right? I'm saving money where I can and then hiring the professionals to come in behind me and do the things that they do.
Yeah. So
I made about 34 grand on that deal. I am still an agent. So I'm still selling homes all bang, maybe one a month, maybe none this month, 2 next month. And that's still stacking up. Then I did my latest deal that I got from the wholesaler out here. And that was in Arden. And that was a get in, get out 6-week deal. Bang, bang, bang. And I just got my net sheet from my title officer, Kelly Ames, with First American Title. And she is amazing. She had really helped me to see everything through. And on this next deal, I'm set to make about 35.
Nice.
So keep in mind, I'm still selling homes. I have 2 listings. I just got a buyer under contract yesterday. Like, it's not, I try to be like Bruce Lee, be water. Whatever opportunities present themselves to me, I'm doing. And keep in mind now, as I start to be able to showcase projects that I've already done, people like my style. And now I get hired out for residential jobs where people want to remodel their kitchen, remodel their bath. And I'm able to make money contracting those jobs and getting people in. So you know what I mean? Like there's so many ways that you can make money in this real estate game that I've come to find. There's so many different ways that people make money in life that it's like, why would you limit yourself to one thing?
Right.
And so here we are now. I'm starting to not shift, but this has always been my goal. Flip houses and sell real estate locally here in California, take that money and parlay it into buy and hold properties out of state so I could obtain that cash flow that I'm looking for, so I
Okay.
could get to my level of financial freedom and focus wholeheartedly on Equity Boys, which is a financial education business that I built to bridge the gap on financial literacy that we don't get in our school system, specifically tailored towards minorities, young adults, and women. Because, like I said, poverty, like I said, if you don't know what you don't know, you can't change anything in your life. And poverty is cyclical, and financial education is a key component to generational wealth. Like Black folks, we couldn't even buy real estate in some parts of the country within the last 60 years.
Yeah.
Yet real estate is the number one wealth building asset in American history. I took 5 stocks and turned it into $180,000 of equity before I turned 29 years old. Man, you know what I mean?
That's big, man.
And people don't know what it takes to buy a house. People don't know that you only need 3%. In some situations, you might not even need that. And if your agent is good enough to negotiate, you really could get in a house for $0. Like my clients Janelle and Greg did in Vallejo last year when they bought a house for $410, put $3K down, and at the closing table they got $3K back. It's just, if you don't know what you don't know, you can't change anything.
Man.
And my job is to educate those who don't. And if I could change the path or the trajectory of one person's family cycle, that impact, you can't even put a number on it.
Yeah. So like you were saying, so let's say for millennials or baby boomers out there that's looking to get started, I mean, relatively, how much would they be looking to come in with, or how much capital would they need to start, and would they need to necessarily house hack, or what if they didn't want to house hack per se?
If you don't want to house hack and you're living in California, you are probably going to be putting yourself in a financial bind unless you have 20% to put down on a house. Let's just do some quick math. Can I share a screen share?
Oh yeah. Give me 1 second here. Let me appoint. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, it should be good now.
Okay. So let's say Sacramento, right? Let's say I'm going to use my house, for example.
Uh-huh.
My house right now is worth at least, I'll say, $440,000. I think that's being conservative. First time home buyer, they're not going to have a ton of money, right? Usually they don't. They usually put down 3%. Today's interest rates, 3.15, that's fair. 30-year loan, miscellaneous. There's no HOA here. $3% down, you're looking at $2,700 a month in payments.
Mm-hmm.
For most people, that's a lot.
Yeah.
If you're not house hacking, that's a lot. You know what I mean? Like, the unwritten rule of real estate is a property should rent for 1% of its purchase price. Right. In California, that's really hard to make happen unless you're working with something that you've like converted into a multifamily somehow or got it really cheap, whatever that may be. But it's very, very difficult to do that. So you got to, for somebody who's just getting started, the 2 things I would ask is this. I always work backwards. What's a realistic amount of money you could bring to the table? What's a realistic price that you could be comfortable with paying every single month for your house? Mm-hmm. If those 2 questions right there equal your price point, because if someone says, I got $25,000, but I only want to pay, $1,700 a month, you ain't going to be able to buy something for $440, even if you're qualified. $300K. That's getting closer. Mm-hmm. But in Sacramento, there's not really a lot of options for $300K right now.
Right.
They come if any at all.
Real quick.
Yeah. If any at all, they're going up. So it's all very person specific. But if it's within your means, some people, they have children. They don't want their kids living with other people. I totally understand that. Some people have gone through some stuff in their life where they don't want to live with roommates. I understand that too. But financially and fiscally, It's probably, if it's, hey, I want to buy a house and live in it by myself so I could build equity, it might put a constraint on you unless you're very comfortable with the numbers that pop up with the current market, because anything you're going to buy is going to be at least 400, probably, if it's a single family home. Now, we could do townhouses and condos and stuff like that, which are much more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, $2,500 in Sacramento, you could rent a spot, a nice spot, for like $1,750 or $1,800. And so some people look at me weird when I say buying isn't always the right time for every single person. Maybe you have a living situation that allows you to save up a little nest egg that you like. Keep saving. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, real estate, I do like it as a investment. It's my number one choice, but the timing has to be right for everybody. Yeah. And for me, the biggest thing is, can you manage to bring this number to the table? And can you manage this payment every month? And is this a place that you could see yourself for at least 2 years? Because you want to hit 2 years living there so you don't get hit with the capital gains. Okay. If you could answer yes to all those questions, then it's your time. Let's find something. But if you can't, then maybe you need to strategize a little bit. Or you could say, you know, I could do this, but I'm going to have a roommate or two. Mm-hmm. And then you have to do your own numbers of, okay, how much can I ask per room? And what happens if somebody moves out? Am I going to be able to swallow this pill by myself for a month or two? Right. So it's all about the strategy and all about having exit strategies and preparing yourself for every situation. And it's not really a silver bullet, as your question, but it's more of a, let's sit down and look at your situation and what you got going on and determine what's the best play for you.
Okay. Right on, right on. I see what you're saying. Man, DJ, that was dope, man. I mean, I've sat down with a couple of hosts before, and you know, and everybody kind of give the rosy side, but you gave the true side, the pro and the con.
I want people to. My dad has always told me two things. He said, use your brain, and said, learn from other people's mistakes before you make your own. I made my own. Yeah. So please learn from mine so you don't make the same, because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through, because it was a stressful year. I probably lost 8 months off the back end of my life because of the stress that it put on me. We'll see when that time comes. But I made it out the other side, man. And I'm happier than I've ever been. And I'm more financially secure than I've ever been. And I'm going to Bigger Pockets conference in October. Okay. I'm able to pay for that without having any concerns. Me and my girl just went to Hawaii with my family. I bought everybody lobster dinner on the beach. And I still drive my, 2013 Hyundai Sonata I've had for 5 years. Uh-huh. I'm not buying Louis, Prada, Fendi. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to build. So future me is grateful for what I've done now. Yeah. I don't need any of the materialistic bullshit that, social media and society prescribes us to have. Right. Especially being young and Black. You know what I mean? Like, that's every day driven down our throat. Yeah. And it just never got, I mean, I like it. I would like a Rollie. I would like, I think it looks cool when people got the grill, but it's just financially irresponsible for me to buy those things. Yeah. And I'm not going to piss off my future self because of my immediate gratification that's fleeting anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this market, this market's so crazy though that some of that stuff might appreciate. That's how crazy stuff is right now, man. Right. Before we go, man, I got like maybe two or three more questions. I got time, brother. Well, so how can our listeners connect with you online? Yeah, so find me on Instagram or Facebook at Equity Boys. I showcase a lot of my projects there and what I got going on. I break down some of the numbers for people. I just want to be a source, man. any way I could be of help. Don't have the equityboys@gmail.com. You could reach me there. And don't hesitate to reach out, man. I've been actually helping people all over the country. It's been pretty crazy. I get people from Missouri, Florida, the East Coast that reach out, and it's just, that keeps me going, man. When people are telling me, hey, I love what you're doing, man. You inspire me, and you don't even know it, It's like, just putting stuff out there, man. You never know who's going to see it, and you never know who's going to want to work with you. And I've been blessed that I've had people in my corner who have a willingness to work with me. But at the same time, I know my work speaks for itself, and I know how to articulate what I got going on. And while I'll say this with as much humility as I can, I know what it is I'm doing, and I'm serious about what it is I'm doing. So when I'm asking for somebody to invest in a deal with me, I'm not asking them for money. Right. I'm presenting them an opportunity. And if they want to jump on this ship, let's rock. And if they don't, I'll find somebody else, because nothing ain't going to stop me.
Hey, man, that's powerful, man. That's so powerful. So man, we definitely gonna have to double back and do it in person, man. So can you walk us through a quick visual, a snapshot of a deal you did recently?
Sure. I'll screen share again.
Yeah, for our visual learners like myself, man.
Absolutely.
Quick walkthrough, man.
Okay, so I'll show you this property that I picked up earlier this year.
Okay. Things in the way. And also, too, everybody, get you a real. If you looking to invest, get you a realtor that also invests as well. That's so
100%. Do not work with. I'm working with a client right now who sold her house with a rookie. We were planning on working together, and the sale of her house totally got fumbled. And she's now calling me stressed out about what's going on. And, I told her I'm more than happy to help her, do whatever it is that she needs to do. Yeah. But it's just a shame, to see people in a tough spot like that. So this is a flip that I just completed in Arden area of Sacramento. I know you're familiar with Arden.
Yeah.
This was a very lipstick flip. This is some of the before videos. New appliances, kept all the cabinetry, new countertops, new cooktop, new hood, got rid of that. Interior, exterior paint, new flooring throughout. This garage was converted here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a converted garage. Made this a dining space. Here's a back laundry room that we kept.
Okay.
This is laundry here that they just ran the hoses that way. We patched that up and just turned everything around, so that didn't need to be like that anymore.
Okay.
Took out all this tile. We put LVP flooring throughout. Did that fireplace, put new shelving up here, took the light bulbs out, put in can lighting, and got the keys on this one on April 18th. Of this year.
Okay.
And listed it for sale on June 8th, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. So
about 6 weeks in and out. This is a sunroom. This job was probably as cosmetic as they get. We did a full bathroom remodel. This was a bathroom, but we said, hey, these vanities look pretty good. Why am I going to get rid of those? You know what I mean? Double plumbed as well. Right, it was kind of some terrible plumbing underneath. My plumber came in and replumbed them correctly.
Okay.
But we kept the vanities. I always get a new toilet in all my flips. It's a $100 investment. People don't want to see a used toilet in a house. It's just what it is. It's worth it every time. Put in a new mirror, new light fixture, put in different backsplash here, redid the whole shower. The rooms were all pretty straightforward. This was their cat or something. So it was a pretty straightforward job, which walking into it, I was like, okay, this is going to be an absolute slam dunk. I had already done 5-6 flips at this point. I knew what I was looking at. This house was built on a slab, so I knew I had nothing to worry about underneath. And I just knew, like, the confidence when you've done it before to be able to pull the trigger and say, let's go, is something that is so valuable.
And what was
And
and what was the purchase price on this one again?
so I will, I'll go over that here.
Okay.
So this is my calculator that I use for all my projects.
Okay.
And it's something that I made by myself. It's not entirely perfect, but it's damn close.
Yeah.
So on this one, I purchased it for $3,075.
Okay.
My rehab budget was $35,000. However, I didn't pull that entire budget. My appraisal coming back at like 400, I want to say, about that. Yeah. So with a hard money lender, and we could go over the financing on another one. I'm happy to do it, but I'll just do it really quickly.
Yeah.
So working with a hard money lender, I break it down two sides. You got the purchase side, then you got the sales side. Okay. On the purchase side, a hard money lender, depending on your status with that hard money lender, with mine, I've worked with them for a while now, so I have pretty good financing terms.
Yeah.
But what they'll loan me is 90% of my costs. And my cost is my purchase plus my rehab. So that number is 342,500, right?
Okay.
90% of that is 308,250. So you take what your all in is minus your loan amount, and that's your down payment.
Okay.
Straightforward enough, right?
Yeah.
Then you got to get your appraisal. Then you got to get home insurance. Closing costs. In this situation, my closing costs were 2% because when you're working off market, it's giving a reason for the sellers to work with you as opposed to just listing it on the market. And one of the reasons was I'll take all the closing costs on. So it's about 2%. And then points. Points are pretty much loan origination. So the bank's going to say, the hard money lender's going to say, hey, we're not a conventional bank. We're not going to dive into your credit and make you jump through all these hoops to get this loan. But in order to do that, you got to pay to play. Yeah. And so the point is 1% of the loan amount. And this is just basically, like I said, pay to play. You got to give them that money to get the loan.
Right.
So I add up all these costs here. And this is basically what I got to come out of pocket with to secure the deal.
Yeah.
So I'll go to remember my partner that I told you I started with 8, then it was 10, then it was 20, then it was 68,000. I go to them and I say, hey, I need about $48,000. And can we do it at 9%? Straight flat interest. I think actually I did this one at 10%. So I just do it very, very clean, straightforward. You give me 48, you make 10% on your money, which is 4,800. I don't overcomplicate it, talking about amortization, APR, all that shit. It's just too complex for somebody who may not be super well versed in real estate. And people like to see simplicity when they're giving out money. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's easier for me to write that into my bottom line and not overcomplicate things. Remember, this is just an agreement between two people. It doesn't need to be some super complex loan or contract or anything like that. It says, you're giving me this amount. I'm giving you this amount back when it's all said and done. Sign here, sign here. So in this deal, I asked for about 48K, 10%. And now let's go to the sales side. So the house ended up selling for $410,000. I could have sold it for more, and I made some marketing mistakes that we'll kind of leave as a cliffhanger for our next episode. That could have generated me at least another $10,000, but it's kind of probably a lesson learned for me. Mm-hmm. And so you got your sale price minus your loan balance. And in this situation, with your hard money lender, you only pay interest on the money on your rehab budget that you actually use. So you don't have to use all this money, and you won't pay for it if you don't use all of it.
Uh-huh.
So I have lines of credit with Home Depot and Amazon where I buy a lot of my materials, and I could hold balance on those credit cards for like 12 months without paying any interest. So I'll buy a lot of my materials on those cards so I don't have to tap into this money, so I don't have to pay interest on that money.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. So when you don't use all this money, your loan balance goes down even more. And my loan balance ended up being about $298,000, roughly. So I still got my closing costs, 1.5%. I got my commission. In this situation, it was 4% because the wholesaler that got me the deal was brought to me by another agent. So I kind of had to break him off a little bit. He's also my brokerage. His name's Keelan Johnson. He's a great guy. He kind of helped me facilitate the deal. So I told him, I'll let you list it for 1.5%, or something like that. And then, 2.5% to the other side. So it came out to 4% commissions. Interest, remember this 10%?
Mm-hmm.
That is that right there.
Okay.
Here's our outcome. Get my investor her principal amount back, 48,507, and the balance goes to me.
Okay.
This was a 6-week job. How much work are you willing to do for 6 weeks to make that money? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And here's the end result. So we interior, exterior paint, all new flooring, all new bathroom. Come on. What's happening? Okay, I'm just gonna do this.
Man, you giving up some gems right now, man.
Happy to do it, man. Somebody show me. And this was the end result. I went with the 3-color scheme on the exterior.
This is the one you just listed on IG, huh?
Yep. Okay. So I'm horrible with colors, so I lean on my sister, Lisa Hamdallah, my best friend. She is amazing with design, so she helped me pick my colors. I wanted to get a little bit more crazy, I guess, with the colors, so I went with the orange door and, a 3-color scheme here, 4-color scheme, really. This white, this color, the trim, and the door. I think it came out really nice. Landscaping was great. Interior, you see here before there was a piece of cabinetry here, which held our vent. I just went with a glass vent straight to the ceiling. With the full backsplash along the backside, I think it really brought it in. Here's the living room, new flooring, tiled up with these big 48 by 24 size tiles, big boy tiles. Really makes it look custom. LVP flooring throughout. I put all these cans in. Before it was just light bulbs. A little modern light fixture. Marble countertops. We did subway tile. I just wanted to go vertical this time. We always do horizontal, so I just wanted to go straight up and down. I think it looks pretty cool. Same cabinets, just repainted, new hardware, all new appliances. New sink, new faucet. Our stager, my stager, Roberta Reese, she's amazing. She killed it on it for the staging for us. This is a little sunroom. Just painted it, put some new light fixtures in here.
Okay, making it pop.
The bathroom, remember these vanities? Kept them.
Touched them up, huh?
Put new hardware, put new bowls, and went with the black finishes.
Okay.
Use the same subway backsplash as the kitchen, but we went horizontal here.
Yeah.
Double mirrors for your double sinks. New light fixture. New tub. Totally new bathroom. New flooring. New toilet. New towel bar set. I always go with the black finishes. I just think it looks good. Why overcomplicate it trying to find a bunch of new stuff for a new thing? It still works.
Yeah.
Bedroom 1. Bedroom 2. This was that garage. Remember, it was a bedroom. We turned it back into a dining space.
Yeah.
Bedroom 3. The laundry area. Here's our backyard.
Okay.
This place that was already here. We just said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh, yeah. Just added bonus.
Fortify it a little bit. Keep it back there. Somebody will like it.
Yeah.
Built a little garden area back here for anybody that wants to do something like that. You know what I mean? New water heater.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
How much value would you have added because it says 3 bed, 1 bath. How much value would have been added if there was a second bathroom? Just curious.
You know what? Initially, when I went into it, that was kind of my thought. I was thinking this garage area.
Where's
that? this garage area, considering we already have plumbing in this wall for our laundry, I was thinking it'd be pretty easy to tap in and make this area a fourth bedroom instead of a dining.
Yeah.
And it would have probably made sense as far as like return on investment.
Yeah.
But if you want to get it on the tax record and you want to have your appraiser count it, you're more than likely going to have to get permits.
Right.
And between me and you and everybody, I guess, on the internet that watches this, I don't get permits. Unless I'm adding square feet or I'm adding an extra room, which I need on the tax record for the sake of an appraisal, I don't get the permits because it's all pretty cosmetic. That job right there was super permitty that I needed. So I think it would have added a good amount of value for the cost it would have taken to make it happen. But the time versus, hey, let's get in and get out in 6 weeks and make 35,000.
Right.
The path of least resistance so we could keep on moving.
Right.
It's not about squeezing every dollar out of every deal. It's about maximizing time versus money in, out, boom.
Right. Man, that you gave so many gems and nuggets, man. Like I said, we're gonna have to double back, man. Thank you for having you on the Never Stop Dreaming podcast, man. It's truly an inspiration.